It is November 17th. This is Microsoft Office Hours. We are thrilled to have all of you with us today. And I'm going to hand it over to my other co-hosts to introduce themselves. I'm Andrea.
Hi, I'm Victoria.
And I am Garrett.
And we're super excited to have an awesome presentation today, but I'm going to hand it over to Nick Miller, one of our CSAs, to introduce it.
Cheers. Thanks, Andrea. So my name is Nick Miller. I'm a cloud solution architect here at Microsoft, specializing in the Power Platform. And I work with a lot of different higher ed and K through 12 organizations across Microsoft. And one of my favorites that I've been able to work with is Southern New Hampshire University. And I have Daston here, who has done some amazing development, especially not just from the Power Platform aspect as a developer, but to create fun and inventive ways to actually complete required trainings using Power Apps. So Daston, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Nick. Hi, everyone. My name is Daston Benet, and I work for Southern New Hampshire University. I am Power Platform developer. So I have a little presentation. I give some quick facts and how did we come up with this app, like how did the story started, and then I'll demo the app itself after that. So I'm trying to share my PowerPoint presentation. So some quick facts. Like I said, I work for Southern New Hampshire University. Here we have 3,000 students and 200,000 online students. That makes us one of the fastest growing university in the nation. So we have over 5,000 employees to support this big number of students. So when you have this big number of employees, you sometimes have some issues. One of the issues is people are not reading their emails. So according to, I just Googled this fact, but according to a survey by Appraise, 30% of employees don't read their emails that they get from employer, like HR, other departments. Some people, another survey says from that percentage that they actually open the email, 24% they just look for photos, images, and infographics. And if they don't find any photos, images, and infographics, they just close it out. They don't, just ignore it. So a lot of information don't get delivered to those employees. So we thought about a way to make it more fun, to make it engaging so people actually go and read it. So what is better than Power Platform to do that? So we thought about, we met with the HR team. This one was specifically for open enrollment. We met with the HR and we came up with a really fun game type of thing. And that makes you read everything that HR wants you to read. So like I said, this is for open enrollment. If you don't know what open enrollment is this period where you enroll in the services offered by your company, including health insurance and other services. So we created an app. It's called, it's an adventure style game using Power App, Canvas app, and Power Automate. We used SharePoint list, Microsoft Teams, and also my colleague, Liz Karam, which she's here as well. She used Adobe Illustrator and Adobe XD to do some really cool designs. I want to mention also, we did not use any premium licensing. Anything that you see in this app is built on SharePoint, Power Automate, and Power App Canvas, no premium licensing at all. So that gives us a hope, like sometimes people say, oh, I don't have Dataverse. You know, you can still do very cool stuff with it. So we launched this game on November 3rd, to be specific. In only 2 weeks, we have 800 employees participated in the game. So those are some charts, some numbers that you can see on the screen. But that's a really, really good turnout, and the HR department in my company are very happy with it. So like I said, this app was built by me, and Liz Karam, my colleague, she helped me with the design. So this is our LinkedIn's. If you have any question, because I'm not going to go in detail with the backend. If you have any question about that backend, feel free to ask me on LinkedIn, or if you just want to be my friend on LinkedIn, you're more than welcome to. If you guys don't have any question, I will demo it. So this is the app. You can see, like, let's just take some moment to like take a look at the design. So in the corner, you see like there's a little guy that chats with people who are using the app. It kind of walks them through like what do you need to do. We also, the first step, so employees start here and they go through like what is new in 2023. You see that there are some medical tasks and dental. So the medical tasks, we actually put them around the hospital. We put the dentals around the dental office. We have some other characters and, GIF files, movements. My favorite is the Bigfoot right here. He's chilling in the woods. And then this character actually was made by Liz, and it's supposedly it's me and my cat. So if you click on start here, it shows you a little video that takes you through the app, how to use it, and when you need to do. And then when you each of those steps are tasks. So when you click on each one of those, some of them are videos, some of them are PDF files. So when you click on them, for example, this is a video file. So I made it in a way where you cannot skip it, because at the end, if you finish all the tasks, the HR will, they have like a drawing, and they have some gift card prizes for the employees who finish all the tasks. So you cannot skip through that video. If you want to pause it, you can just click on the screen and then play it. You have already finished this task, so the button would not. So if you haven't, if it's first time, that I'll show you later, a button will show up on the top that tells you click on it to finish the task. We also put the transcript in here for accessibility. So as you can see, I finished all those tasks, and I left one task here to demo it for you guys to show you how it works. And then if you see in here, the same character and the computer, it shows the percentage of the tasks that you have finished throughout the game. So I'm on 86%. So I already started this one, so I'm at the very end, the video. See, like this one is also a video. So see, like when the video ended, the button showed up, and then when I click on the button, right, wait, this should mark as completed, and then this should go to 100%. So while this is doing that, I want to show you the end of the list. So the list, the first thing when you open the app, the app detects your username and it puts it in this list that I call it enrollment list. And then each one of those tasks have A, B, C, like the completed sessions. So once you complete, like, for example, this person have only completed one, And then once you complete all of them, the status says finished all, the date, and then the ID. So that's how I detect the finished tasks. As you can see, after I finished the last task, this is 100%, and the character is standing up and dancing. I also want to share that I put a button here for the background music if you want to play it with the background. Any questions?
This is pretty amazing. Like I just put in the chat, like my K-12 teacher heart just, this is amazing. I want to see students make these too, but it looks like Walter might have a question. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, how much expertise do you have in the Power Apps? Because, you know, we're trying to push this more to our users, but you know, the on-ramp appears to be a little bit more steep than Microsoft marketing materials may make it sound. And I'm also curious, like, what is your specific kind of background? Are you more of a developer? Are you more of like the infrastructure person? Like, how did you come to sort of build it?
I'm a developer, but it's like it's a little bit of Power FX. It's not much. Like it's just it grabs the information, patches it back to the list. Yeah, it's like it involves a little bit of coding, but it's not that much. It's not what you expect.
I guess a follow-up question would be like, do you have any good learning paths to follow for sharing that, you know, especially like if we try to up our game? We already played around with the platform a little bit, but
For Power Apps specifically?
Either Power Apps, Power Platform, anything in that space.
Yeah, so I started learning Power Apps through like App in a Day sessions by Microsoft. I attended like a couple of them, and then I was just curious. I have like a graduated computer science, so I had a little bit of programming background, but like the low code, no code, like it involves some coding, but it's pretty simple. So there are a lot of resources. And the community is awesome. Like if you have questions, join the community, the Power Platform community, and I really strongly recommend App in a Day sessions.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Walter,
welcome.
have you attended an App in a Day?
I did, and I find those very good as well. So I can definitely second that. They're great.
I'm gonna say I'll check in with our team and see if I can't get the next set of App in a Day, Dashboard in a Day sessions coming up posted in our office hours community team for what's coming.
I also want to show like after you finish that I don't know if receive. Yeah, so I created a Power Automate message that you get a message from Teams that tells you you're finished and you are automatically entered into a drawing for a $100 gift card.
How do they share it with their coworkers? I see that in the message, that button there. What's the quickest way for them to share it with coworkers? Is there a button there to push, or do they? They
can share the button. We also made it available through if you go to apps and then you can go to open enrollment. So this is available right now for everyone at all the staff members in our tenant.
Gotcha. We have a few questions in the chat. First
perfect.
one from Catherine. How does the licensing work? Does it have to be published to the world to share with the staff? I understood the users all need the same licensing.
Yeah, like I said, it's not premium licensing. It's just the seated licensing. So yeah, it's shared with all the staff members, the staff member Azure group, and yeah, everyone have access to play it.
Okay, and I guess Catherine's asked around sharing with the world. Catherine, I guess you're concerned about does this mean that everyone will now have this app show up in their tenant versus will the app only live in your tenant? Is that what you're getting at, Catherine?
No, not so much. I know that when we've worked with Power BI, that what we create has, it just seems like the licensing makes it not usable for us. Everything that we wanted to do, it just seemed like, oh, well, because the users don't have this license, they can't, you know, see this or read this or whatever. And I didn't know if it was the same with Power Apps.
What was your experience, Destin? Was it like everyone had, I guess the people that are using the end result don't necessarily have to have the same licensing, right? It's just the person that's creating it, or I don't actually fully know the answer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it's different from Power BI, because it seems like Power BI is a little bit more stickler.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna maneuver the dashboards from Power BI, then you would need that licensing to do that. But I think there is also a view only instance if you don't have that premium license.
Okay.
The next question, thank you for that question, Catherine. Chris, how are you hiding the SharePoint list from each user, or is that not a requirement for this project?
So no one knows where the data, so the users see that Power App. They do have, because we are using SharePoint list, so they do have edit access in the SharePoint list to be able to patch data from Power App to the SharePoint list. But no one knows where the SharePoint list lives. It lives in a different SharePoint site. So all they see is this Power App user interface.
Okay, awesome. You got a shout out from Jess that's saying that you are incredible at teaching yourself new and amazing things. So I think that was very evident to all of us here. Also, Catherine, follow-up question, which this might have gotten to it a little bit, but Catherine wanted to know if you could show us what it looks like behind the scenes. Catherine, did you want to expound on that, or do you understand that ask? Okay, you got us.
Do you want me to show it behind the scene?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. So while Dastin's pulling that up, just to talk about the licensing aspect. So like with Power BI, to share those workspaces, right? Unless it's a premium workspace, those users need that A5 or Power BI Pro license. Everything Dastin built out here using Canvas apps, it uses the seeded A3 license, right? So as long as they have Power Apps for Office 365 and Power Automate for Office 365 turned on, those users will have the ability to not only consume the app, but then also interact with it. It's part of their Office 365 seeded license piece. So there wasn't any kind of premium requirement or any kind of pro license requirement for this app or the the awesome other ones Dastin has built for SNHU.
That's really
Awesome.
very confusing. So I thought we had to purchase licenses for Power Apps and then use the for our users who want to interact with the app. And we have an A5. So you're saying for people who are interacting with a Power App that we build with, a fully licensed like account, but the people who are using it we don't have to buy anything additional for them?
As long as the data we're connecting to need a premium connection or require a premium license, then yeah.
That's the gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the problem I ran into before with my app. Okay, it's about where my data and my premium connectors. Okay.
And also, isn't it the difference between the Canvas app in Teams and the model-driven apps that use Dataverse? The model-driven apps, you need a Power App per user license to develop, and then the portal license to be able for users to access those.
For Power Apps portals, renamed Power Pages, yes.
Power Pages, yes.
Yep, and model-driven apps, those are all driven from the Dataverse. We can't, like a Canvas app, connect to other data sources. We can use data flows to pull information from other data sources, but it's actually in a Dataverse table. So it requires that premium license to be able to interact with the data through those applications. Canvas apps is made to truly be that kind of low code where if we're connecting to Excel, SharePoint, we can, and it'll work just fine and use the Office seated license. But as soon as we want to connect to Oracle or SQL Server or any other type of anything that may require a custom connector, then the users would need to have that premium license. And so that's where the premium kind of comes into play, and how it can be confusing is if we're connecting to the data that requires the premium license. And for Canvas apps, everyone who consumes it would need to have that license, or they would get a, do not have access kind of thing. But everything here is all in SharePoint. So so it all works with that A3 license. Yep.
So let me recap, since this is such a confusing subject, and I apologize for dwelling on licensing when really we should be dwelling on how amazing this piece of work is, because it is fabulous. But you're saying that because his data is existing inside of SharePoint, even he wouldn't have had to have a per app or per user Power Apps license to build it. You're saying that because the data is in SharePoint, included in either A3 or A5, anyone can build and anyone can consume within just the for Office version of the licensing without the additional cost. That's fantastic. There's so much we could do just with storing data in SharePoint. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Nice. And as you go into the background of things, here, there's a few questions that tie into this, so you can probably address these as well. But curious about what Power Automate flows that you are using. So we'll probably see that as you dig into the background, as well as wondering if this page was built on Power Pages. So
no,
I will stop piling on questions, but I felt like you might address that as you go. Dig into the background.
It is a Canvas app. It's Power App, Canvas app. It's not Power Pages. It looks like Power Pages, but it's not. And it's also a tablet size. I'm going to show a little bit of, we don't have much time to show everything, but just quick. So when on the app, you can see this as a Power App. On the app on start, what we do is if the username is not there, we just patch to the enrollment list, which is the SharePoint, the email address of the user, which we are creating a variable on the top for Office 365, the user that's opening the app, their email address. So we are just putting that email address in the list if they don't exist. If they exist, we don't do that. That means it's blank. So with that, on each one of those tabs, I made those in groups. See, this is invisible, so it navigates to what's new screen, and then set selected ID to A, like you saw A, B, C. So for this one, the selected ID variable is A, and it navigates to the screen, what is new screen. And then on the what is new screen, there is a button that's hidden right here. When you finish that, so mark completed, it's an image, the button. So if you go to the on select, it's loading.
You may need to click on the actual button.
Yeah. Thank you. Thought I clicked on that. Yeah, so what it does, it patches, it gets the username, finds the username that's opening, and it patches the completed session. And then it adds the selected ID variable, which is A in this, to that completed session. And then so on. And then it navigates back to the screen one. And it does that for every single other task. So I put the variable ABC into the variable, go to the task, watch the whole video, then the button shows up and the button patches that variable into that SharePoint list. And then in Power,
Yeah, well, so one thing I was going to say, Dassin, if you pull your roll down your formula bar again, notice one of the ways that you can obfuscate this, right? It's in a site collection somewhere that no one knows, right? We grant them access to the SharePoint list to be able to add new things and edit that sort of thing and adjust the permissions on the SharePoint side. But you can also like misname things, right? Use project code names for these different types of projects that you're building. So if someone goes out to SharePoint and or Microsoft 365 and does a big search and tries to find open enrollment, they're still not going to find it because we've used project and code names to be able to obfuscate where we're actually saving the data, and only the people who were part of that project actually know what the actual name of the lists are. So that's another way that you can ensure that, to take that next step to ensure that your data isn't found by accident by using enterprise search.
And also, I think there was a question about Power Automate. The Power Automate is super simple. I'm not going to demo it because we don't have much time, but it's just like when an item is created in the SharePoint list, it triggers the Power Automate. It sends, when they finish it, it checks that field. If all the sessions are completed, it sends an email to that user, not email. It sends a Teams message to that user saying, congratulations. So it's just like a condition there, if you are familiar with Power Automate, if the session equal completed, finished all, then send them a Teams message. I appreciate those messages. I'm reading, trying to go through them.
That's great.
Yeah, we have questions about your questions about your dance moves. I think that's my favorite. You don't have to answer that here. We don't want you to have to cross your different lives here on this Teams call. But any other questions before we close out here? Okay, guess we can stop the recording, but yeah, this should be uploaded along with everything else.